Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, April 4th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, we are looking at ICTT. Big mover today, and overall just a good, healthy looking uptrend. Yeah, it's had some pullbacks, but all the uptrends have continued to respect and stay above that purple line there, which on my chart denotes the well-known, the famous 50-period moving average, most recently with just a beautiful bounce off of it right there. So came down there, hit it, and then this morning, very nice move up from there. So congratulations to anybody that played the bounce off of that area. In terms of areas of resistance now moving forward, we'll start with that. And nothing really fancy or complicated. I think a basic trend line goes pretty far. So you got to think that a lot of people have drawn this area right here, that trend line. And I make the comment about a lot of people because when a lot of people are watching the same level and are wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there are no such things as guarantees, is it valid, is it plausible to think that if the price comes up here and breaks up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible thought to have. So keep an eye on that level if you'd like to try to play breakouts. In terms of areas of support, already talked about this earlier. Just continue to watch out purple line there, 50-period moving average. Keyword there being moving. So as time goes on, that line is just going to continue to move and look something like that. So in all actuality, if you wanted to turn this into somewhat of a pattern, so we have our resistance and then we have our support. Essentially, we would be looking at basically a wedge pattern here that's starting to form. But anyway, look at it. Higher highs, higher lows, and that is the name of the game. Next one here, DMN had a massive amount of volume today and still some very well-defined areas, which once again are areas that you got to think a lot of people are watching. Now, the one thing that I'm curious about moving forward, and this may not mean anything at all, but the price, never mind. Let's get this changed to green. I thought on the naked eye test, I thought the price was actually down below this trend line, but it's not. So, all right, things are not as bad as what I thought. So as of right now, the question becomes, can the price maintain above that trend line right there? Because as long as it can maintain above there, think about the requirement to stay above it. The price has got to put in higher lows. And assuming you're bullish, that's what you want to see because that's what uptrends are built upon, higher lows. And so far, so good. You had a low here, a low here, a low here, and now a low up there. And you notice each of these keep getting higher and higher. But a more simplistic way to just kind of gauge that is just to get a trend line in place. Also, the price, as of right now, is doing a good job staying up above that purple line right there. But in my opinion, at least, the most important level is that trend line because any sort of breaks of that trend line, then all of a sudden it becomes a very real problem of, is that the sign that the bears have taken back over? But yes, the price did pull back from its highs, but to be fair, the price is still above that overarching trend line right there. In terms of levels of resistance, main battleground to watch right here around the 18-cent mark. You can see that's essentially where the price got rejected from today and didn't quite hit it back then, but close to where it got rejected back then. So not 18 cents, 0.018 will be that key level of resistance. Next one here, SOXL, an ETF that got absolutely destroyed today, but within the destroying, we now have an interesting pattern here that has formed, one of my favorites. So let's get this drawn. There is the support part of the pattern. And then we have the resistance portion right there. And this would be a falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. Same is true if something's a bearish pattern, doesn't mean the price is going to go down. But this is nonetheless a bullish pattern. So would it be shocking? Would people just be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming? If this thing were to curl back upwards, get a break through the top part, and then find some more upwards buying pressure, I don't think anybody would be shocked by that. So SOXL, very popular ETF today. A whole lot of eyeballs on it, a whole lot of volume. Now you got the falling wedge. Can we get some sort of push up on Friday? We'll see what happens. Next one, PTIX. I like the setup on this one very much. Started off the day very nice, then started to come down. At this point, it always gets sketchy. It always becomes a question of, is this a gap and trap, pump and dump? What exactly is going on? And we seemingly got our answer because the price did stop going down. And not only did it stop going down, actually put in this nice little uptrend here that has now been put into play throughout basically the late morning through the remainder of the day. So we have some progress being made, but at the same time, have a pretty well-defined breakout area that I think a lot of people will be watching. So again, guarantees nothing, but makes it plausible to think that maybe right there at 49 cents could be one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. And then if we just look at all this and make it, so we have our support, we have our resistance, we have an ascending triangle here that is forming, which is a bullish pattern to me. Does not mean it's for sure going to go up, but certainly a valid question to throw out there on, the price, whether it can push up through there, and if it does that gather in more momentum? So if you like penny stocks, you like ascending triangles, here you go. Next one here, NVDA, and yes, a brutal day. Had this nice uptrend, but I mean, just the trend line didn't, just a gap down below it, a brutal day. And I realize that the market's had a brutal day, so yes, none of this is necessarily shocking. I'm just going to get rid of all those lines as they're irrelevant for right now. But the first key level that I'm curious about now moving forward from a resistance standpoint is that area right there. So not really relevant right now, but I could see it having some relevancy. So if there is any sort of attempted curl back upwards, in my mind, that's where my first question mark comes into play. Yeah, the price may be bouncing, but is it truly strong? And the first step, or the first quote-unquote proof, if you will, that it is truly strong would be, can the price break above that resistance line right there? If the price can push above there, then the next key overarching area of resistance you'd want to keep an eye on is that 50-period moving average. Right now valued at 107, but remember, that is a moving average. So that value over here is going to change as time goes by. In terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate this. Just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today. So green. And the bleeding finally stopped today down there at the 102 mark. So for that reason alone, again, no fancy logic. Just that's where the bleeding stopped. So let's see if the bulls can continue to be strong down there at 102. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can click on, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the page that you can click. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event. So a couple situations, maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening. Maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That's okay. Send me an email to clay@claytrader.com and I can send you a link to the replay so that you can watch it at your earliest convenience. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one here, looking at OSRH, and talked about this already with another one when I talked about that ascending triangle pattern. So I'll go through this a little quicker, but we have this nice upwards movement that played out for basically late morning through the rest of the day, but at the same time have what seems to be a relatively stubborn area of resistance right here around the $2.73 mark. And then just to make sure that everybody sees the ascending triangle, should look familiar if I do my job right. So right here, again, bullish patterns do not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go up, but would it shock anybody if it consolidated a little bit more and then got a break? That movement right there, like I said, I don't think would be shocking to anybody. And if it's a high volume break, again, no guarantees, but high volume break, is it out of the question for it to get back up there and retest those highs? I don't think so at all. So again, if you like ascending triangles and you like this price range down below $5, here you go. Next one here, APVO, and same general idea of what I just talked about. I wouldn't quite call it an ascending triangle. This one I would call more saying so a symmetrical triangle, excuse me. So there's our area of, in fact, yeah, we don't even need to do that. Let's just do this. Let's get spicy here. Instead of using a lower trend line, let's just use our purple line, which you now know is the 50-period moving average, as the trend line for us, because that's a moving average. So, and that's why I like to call these trend lines for lazy people, because sometimes, people don't want to draw a trend line. Well, fine. Then just let this trend line right here, quote unquote, draw itself for you, because as time goes by, that line is going to keep on moving upwards. But with that in mind, we'll get rid of it and then just turn this into the symmetrical triangle. So very similar to the ascending, but it's just got a slightly different shape to it. So there's our area of resistance. There's our area of support. So you can see the triangle right here. So now just a question of, is it going to bounce around and eventually get the break to the upside? So keep riding that dynamic. So again, if you like these sorts of patterns, you like prices down below $5, you have quite the few choices here headed into Friday. Next one here, TIVC. Again, another pattern here. A little bit different. And I don't think I've done this one. Honestly, I can't remember. We've done the ascending triangle. We've done the symmetrical triangle. Have we done this one? I don't think so. So we have the resistance part of the pattern right here. We have the support part of the pattern right there. So again, change that to green for support. And then just to make everything the same color and hopefully easier to see. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. The price was down here before making this big old move up like that. And then for you golfers, to make this pattern a little bit easier, let me put the golf hole down here. So this would be called a bull pennant pattern. So we have a variety. If you like stocks down in this range, you got the ascending triangles, you got the symmetrical triangles. Now we have the bull pennant pattern. Then you have quite the variety moving forward. But As I've said, no guarantees, but certainly more than plausible to think that if the price were to come up here and break up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. Next one here, NMAX, been a crazy stock. Last time I did this a couple days ago, and the power of charts drew in that pattern right there, which was a rising wedge, called for a pullback. Now, did I know it would get that nasty? That would be a lie. The falling wedge didn't suggest it would pull back that much, but it did suggest a pullback. It did pull back, and then it just pulled back that much more. So, again, the power of charts will get rid of that pattern over there. And if you don't believe me, if you think I just drew that in there, I'm not offended at all. All you got to do is go back a few days in the watch or in the playlist and watch the video from a couple days ago, and you'll see what I had to say at that point. But in terms of what's relevant right now, so this thing had been bleeding, as I pointed out, actually a very nasty bleed. But today, seemingly things have stopped and are trying to work their way back upwards, which does make it a question. Okay, is this actually the start of some sort of recovery? So the kind of quickest way to just continue to gauge the health of this current move is, yeah, you guessed it, let's just get an uptrend line in place. Because as I mentioned earlier, the requirements to stay above that line are just the price has got to put in higher lows, and that's what bullish moves are going to do. Bullish moves are not necessarily going to go straight up. They are going to need to put in higher bases, though, and that's what that trend line there will help us gauge. And then in regards of areas of resistance, we have this area right here that I would consider the main dynamic right at the $73 mark. You can see right there, rejected the price, right there, rejected the price. And yeah, maybe you see where I'm headed with all this. Name the pattern with me. We have ourselves, there's our area of resistance. There is our area of support. We got an ascending triangle pattern. So will this bounce around a little bit more and then get a break to the upside? Grab your popcorn for Friday. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And yeah, rough day, but all things considered, I'd say Tesla had a pretty good day. Again, a lot of stocks got absolutely destroyed today. And yeah, Tesla did go down. Let me get rid of these lines up here. But like I said, I would still consider it a victory. And I'm basing that from the charting standpoint on the fact that not only is the price still above the 200 period moving average, it didn't even get close to being tested. So that still doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, but I'm just trying to kind of visualize my statement about, yeah, bad day for Tesla, but not nearly as bad as, other stocks out there. So moving forward, definitely continue to watch that pink line there. 200 period moving average right now valid at, we'll just call it the 257 mark. That remains more of a key overarching level of support. And as long as the price stays above there, that's great. And then another way to just kind of maybe help you visualize why, yeah, it was a rough day for Tesla, but not terrible. There was this overall trend line that is in place. And I'm not going to leave it there, but you can see the price is still nicely above the trend line. And not only is it, let me move it, there we go. And not only is the price still above the trend line, hasn't even come close to testing it. But like I said, we won't use that trend line. I think just using that 200 period moving average makes a whole lot of sense. In regards to areas of resistance, in the very near term, key level to watch right here at that level of 272, you can see quite a bit of history around that area, a couple of rejections there, more rejections right there. And then if the price can push up through there, I think I deleted this area out at the start of the video, but we'll get it back in there. Next key overarching area right up there around the 284.50 mark. But like I said, all things considered, I'd say a relatively strong day here for Tesla. So that wraps up the top 10 list. And again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. It'll be this evening, Thursday, April 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I hope to see you there. But as I mentioned earlier, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I will send you a link to the replay so that you can watch it at your earliest convenience. And as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're looking for a very free and easy way to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button, as that really does help out. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be seeing you here in just a few hours.